Hello everyone. In this video we will be talking about shapes. Specifically we will be discussing the shapes triangle, square, rectangle, and circle. But before we do, I would like to describe some basic things that will help you to understand some of the words that I'm going to use in this video. So, to do that, we're going to use this little application that allows me to make a 3D shape. So here I've made, as you can see, I've made a little box. Now I want you to imagine that this box is actually a house, okay? So if this is a house, and imagine that we could fly and look at the house from above, okay? Well, now, if you look at it, then these lines would be the walls of the house, right? Well, in mathematics, when we're talking about shapes, the walls, let's say, would be the sides of the shape. Okay, so how many sides does this shape have? It has 1, 2, 3, 4. It's basically like asking how many walls does this house have? It has 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not talking about the roof, so that doesn't count. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you want to think about what the sides of the shape means, you could think of the shape as a house and think, well, how many walls does it have? Okay. Now another thing that I'm going to be saying is the word angles. Now angles are where the sides meet. So here is an angle, for example, this part right here, and here's another one, and here's another one, and here's another one. You can, again, if we were talking about a house, it would be like the corner of a house. See, like this is a little corner inside the house. Well, in shapes, when we're talking about shapes, we call that an angle. So you could think in your house, well, how many corners do I see? If you were looking at it from above, those would be called angles. So let's go back to our shapes. The first shape that we're going to talk about is the triangle. The triangle has 3 sides and 3 angles. They don't have to be equal, they don't have to be the same, they don't have to be anything specific. All I care about is that that's too big. There are 3 sides and 3 angles, and then we have a triangle. So let's make a shape like that. I'm going to make one line here, one side here, then another side I'm going to put it here. I don't have to necessarily, I could put it anywhere I want. Could even put it on this side if I wanted. I could put it here. I could put it really, really close to this first side, and I could still make a triangle out of this, but for now I'm just going to put it right here. And then I'm going to make another side. And this side, this final side, can't go wherever I want, can't go here. This needs to close the shape. So it needs to come back to the beginning of the shape here. So here we see a shape that has 1, 2, 3 sides and 1, 2, 3 angles. Let's actually color the angles so that you can see them a little better. Let's actually color these angles. One is here, one is here, one is here, and specifically I'm not talking about just any part of the place where they meet. I'm talking about the part that's inside the shape. So this outside I don't need. I don't really need it. When I'm talking about angles, I'm talking about this. I'm talking about the inside, the corners. Remember, we said if they were corners in the house, the place where the walls meet, basically. And again, it doesn't have to be like this. I could let's make another triangle, one that's really, really, it has a really small angle. So up here, there's a really small angle. There you go. That's also a triangle right there because it has 1, 2, 3 sides. This is a side too. It doesn't have to be big or small. It can be whatever we like. Has 3 sides and 3 angles. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this should be closed, but it's not. So let's actually close it. There we go. Now it's closed. Now it's good. And again, we have 1 angle here, 1 angle here, and 1 angle up here. So that's triangles. Again, 3 sides, 3 angles. That's a triangle. Next up, we're going to talk about the square. And we're going to put it up here. Square. A square has 4 equal sides. That means that all the sides are the exact same. And 4, sorry, I didn't write sides. And 4 equal angles. So let's make a square. Now, if I did it like this, well, okay, that was a little too much. If I did it like this, again, the same thing. Anyway, if I did it like this, then this side is much bigger than this side and this side. So this is not a square, actually. Make a square, I would have to make actually, no, we're going to use that. To make a square, I would have to make a shape that has 4 equal sides. So here, this one has 4 sides that are the exact same. So if I had a ruler and I measured, okay, how long is this side? It would be the same as this side and this side and this side. They're all the same. It also has 4 equal angles, which means that if I measure, okay, how big is this angle? How open is it? It would be the same as this one and this one and this one. So that's a square. Next up, we're going to be talking about rectangles. Rectangles are kind of like squares, but imagine that I took a square and I stretched it out. So it has 4 equal angles. But what about the sides? Well, the sides are equal in pairs. What does that mean? It means that it has 2 big sides that are equal and 2 small sides that are also equal. So, imagine now that I took this square. Let's actually take this square, move it over. Okay, now imagine I took this square and I stretched it out like this, right? So now these sides on the top and the bottom are much bigger than the sides on the left and the right. Now this is a rectangle because, again, it has 4 equal angles. So this angle is the same as this one and this one and this one. But there are 2 big sides, the top and the bottom, and there are 2 small sides, the left and the right. And this doesn't have to look exactly like this. I could turn it to its side. I could turn it upside down, so I could turn it like this. That's still a rectangle. I don't really care. And also the square, that goes with the square. Again, it doesn't have to be exactly like this. It could be like this. That's still a square. It doesn't matter that I turn it around or anything. That's still a square, and this is still a rectangle. They don't have to be looking a specific way in order to be squares or rectangles. Next up, we're going to be talking about circles. Circles are a little different in that they have no sides and no angles. What they are is basically all the points that are the same distance from the center of the circle. It's a bit easier to just show you in this case. So let's make a circle. Okay. There we go. There's a circle. I'm going to make it a little less. Yeah. And its center would be right about here. Okay. Now, if I measured the distance from the center to any point on the circle, it would be the same. That's what the circle is. It's all the points that have the exact same distance from the center. So let's say instead of doing it like this, that I made the center first and the circle later. What I would do is I would make the center, and then I'd say, okay, well, I want to make a circle that is about this big. Okay, well, here's a point that's at exactly that distance from the center, and then we can make another one. Let's make another one. So I would make another one here, and then I would make another one. Here. Now, just for time, to save time, I'm going to make a few of these and come back. So as you can see here, I've made some more points that are the exact same distance. They're all the same distance from the center. And I want you to imagine now that I kept doing this, that I made all of the points that I could at this exact same distance from the center. It's starting to look like a circle. And imagine now that I connected all of these points. What I would get would be a circle. That's how we define a circle. So that'll be all for today. Tomorrow we'll be doing some exercises with these 4 shapes. And that'll be all for today. See you guys again tomorrow.